Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. It's another Saturday stream. These ones are a little bit more informal if you are unaware. Although I did have a topic. I kind of want to cover this in one of my, I used to do every now and again a coffee series in the morning. It's just this week was just too busy. I could not pull something like that off. So figured I'd go ahead and do this. So this one's more prepped of a stream than I usually would do in this time. Just because I wanted to cover this earlier and I wanted to give it more attention than just a brief mention on the news. Speaking of the news, I thought this morning, I don't actually remember covering the article that titled the news yesterday. So stay to the end of this stream and we'll actually cover that article, and I will make sure that I link that into the news from last night. Talked about all the health data. I never talked about the article about health data. But before we jump into the comments, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about what I'm going to talk about here for about 20 or so minutes. For anybody catching this after the live stream, you can watch the important part, and then if you want to hang out for the live chat afterwards, go ahead and do that. But let's just really quickly say hello to everybody whose names I see. So, Carbon Programmer, greetings. Libre Secure, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master, Noah Videos, Jockix, greetings. I don't remember you, Jockix. Hello. I think I saw Chip down there. Piotr, greetings. And Eric Defoe, hello there. Alan Blake, greetings to you. And Keegan the Tennessean, how are you? All right, so hello to all you guys. I will go ahead and do the comment thread after we talk about what I wanted to chat about today, which, where is my... Whatever. Preparedness is exciting. We're going to be talking about phones, and I don't actually have my Android phone here. I have an old iPhone. We'll just use that anytime I want to talk about a phone in my hand. I'll just use that instead. All right. So, of course, if you hadn't followed much of the news, the EU has given out the largest fine it has ever really given out to date. $5.1 billion in an antitrust fine. And in this, they also have 90 days to fix the problems that they had, or they are going to incur more fines. Now, that amounts to about 1 week of, I don't remember if it's just Google's division's profit or if that's all of Alphabet's profit. I don't remember that specific number there. But this is a huge antitrust fine. Of course, you can see from Digital Trends, their article title here from this week, it says the $5.1 billion antitrust fine could mean the end of the free Android. And this is kind of what I want to talk about today. And there was actually an article about 4 or 5 years ago on Ars Technica, and they revived that article this morning. And they revived this article because it has so much to do now. Basically, Android, if you're unaware, is an open source application. So you might find it's AOSP, I think, the Android Open Source Project. But what Google has been doing is more and more items are becoming more closed source. But in reality, it's not the core operating system itself. All it is the silly utilities. It's the cameras. It's the calendars. It's the search functions. It's the web browsers. And to that I say, so what? So what? There are way far superior open source applications to replace all those things. Now, is it all inside of one centralized ecosystem? No. But maybe we don't necessarily all want that. Do you want every single application that you have one joint place, one joint server where every bit of data is collected? I don't. Let's go ahead and have a quick look at this here. Now, of course, between these two articles, we're going to jump back and forth between these two articles for a little bit before we jump on to the next ones. But basically what their problem is that on the Android phone, of course, this is an iPhone because my Android's in the other room. So the phone, you get the phone and it has, modern phones, they'll have a search function, they'll have usually Chrome embedded, you'll have Google Play Store, you'll have the Google Music, Google Photos, all that kind of stuff. Unless, of course, you have like a Samsung and it's all Samsung branded apps. But if you notice, all of the Google versions of those apps are also still on the device, which leads to bloatware. All right, so the problem is that for a manufacturer to have for a manufacturer to basically be fully compatible, they have to agree to ship the Google apps with the device. And so any attempt of taking Google apps out and putting your own proprietary ones in will be a violation, and you're basically kicked out of the group of people that that can actually utilize your items here. So basically what this article is about with the UK fine is basically that Google has such a dominance over the mobile phone technology world. And having such a dominance of the mobile phone technology world, if you want to have a phone that can compete in the market, you have to, even though the Android itself is open source, Google basically makes you package in the Google apps with it. Now, of course, there are little ways around it. Samsung is the best example of a manufacturer who's gotten around this by having all Samsung type things. If you've used a Samsung device, you know it's a decent user experience. In fact, it's a good user experience. I had a Galaxy S5 for a while. And while I'm not a big fan of all of the integrated everything, what I found is there were applications that I would download Firefox and K9 Mail for my Android phones because I don't want to use the built-in systems that will communicate to either Google or Samsung. I'm not into that. I'll use the open source applications that don't make any of those connections to anything. I found that the Samsung Music application was better than the default Google application for music. So I used that if I wanted to listen to something on the device. Cameras, I used whatever the stock camera was, probably the Google camera, because you were not allowed to disable notification or location services from the camera. Really? That's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. So basically what EU says is that you have got to make it so that people, basically it means removing the restrictive terms from their, I think it's OHA, I think is what it is. That's an acronym for something. I gotta remember what it stands for. But of course, this article here from Ars Technica, originally published in 2013, you can see Q4 2008 is when Android launches, and you can see that by the end of 2013 it was dominant, and it still is dominant. iPhones, there are a lot in there. There's a lot more in there. They have a greater percentage, but still I think Android is the dominant. This is, of course, as to Q2 2000 stats. And so basically what happens is, and the article does a great job of closing all this in. The first thing is they have their closed source creep. So you have the Android operating system, but then there was the search bar that was originally open source, but then Google made it a little bit better and then made it proprietary. Okay. And of course, they do these screenshots. And of course, as they note at the beginning of this article here, that these are from 2013. So even these are kind of old and outdated. So here's the Android open source project search. Here's the Google search. I've never even felt any compelling need to use the search. In fact, I've always gotten rid of it. If I want to search for something, I will pull up a web browser, for crying out loud. I don't know. Here's, of course, the music apps, the open source music application, which I think is on my other phone. And it does kind of suck, I think. And then, of course, Google Play Music, which literally I hate. I think this is so hard to use. I think I have this on... I have a burner phone that doesn't actually connect anything. I use it for running with a GPS that doesn't log to any user data. And I threw some music on there. Of course, I have the Google Music Play on there. That thing sucks. I think it sucks compared to the open source one, honestly. I think they both suck, really. I generally use VLC when I can. Of course, here's the calendar applications. Basically, enable gesture typing, dynamic floating preview, show gesture trail between those two. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the calendar. That was the keyboard. My apologies. The keyboard so allows the gesture type, which didn't they get rid of that too? I don't remember. Here's the camera. They both suck. Open Camera is the best camera, open source project. This is messaging. This was kind of what they were thinking was going to happen. This never ended up happening with Google Hangouts being involved as the messenger, them going a different direction. So Ars was wrong on that speculation there. Of course, there's KitKat. Yeah, remember this? This is like antiquated. So you guys might be too young to remember Android looking like this. I don't know. And so basically what happens is they started locking in manufacturers, basically saying if you'd like to have anything, it's OHA is what I was looking for. This is the Open Handset Alliance, which is anything but open. Now, this to me ultimately is the issue. I don't think this is a Google issue. I think the EU is overstepping their bounds here. I don't think this is an EU issue. I don't think it's a Google issue. Now, the danger is where Google is moving is their trend called Fuchsia. Fuchsia is basically a Android operating system, but it is completely closed source. Think about that. A completely closed source mobile operating system. This is the device perpetually connected to the internet that we feel compelled to share more data with than anything. And they want to do it completely closed source. That's what they want to do. Okay? That's the direction they want to move. And of course, Fuchsia is supposed to basically combine the Chromebook operating system with the Android operating system, basically one OS to rule them all. That's the direction they're going. That really is the direction that they are going. All right. Now, I say this isn't necessarily a Google issue. And the reason is this is a manufacturer issue. I think if the EU wants to do something to really help the people, if America wants to do something to really help the people, we need to mandate that when I purchase this phone for, is it $200 or $500 or $1,000 or $1,500 or more dollars, this should be my device. I should be able to unlock the bootloader on this and install everything that I want. All right. I don't have a problem with that as long as I have a device I can unlock. Because my Android phone does not have anything Google on it. It has the Android open source project through Lineage, and every application, every connection is all done in free and open source software. And I have videos about how to do that. The problem is that not all devices are compatible with that. And sometimes it's a problem with the carrier. For example, Motorola. Motorola allows you to unlock the bootloader if you've purchased the phone from Motorola. Albeit, I disagree that you have to create an online account, etc., etc. I should be able to take this device once I paid for it, plug it in my computer, and do whatever I want to it. And if I break it, so be it. I want that choice. Your average user who doesn't know any better, they probably won't mess with it. And that's okay. But as an end user who's competent with technology, I want the ability to take my device and do with it what I want. That's why I specifically search out the devices that can be unlocked or unlockable. If you take that same Motorola phone, you buy it from AT&T as part of your plan, they permanently lock the bootloader and you are not allowed to unlock it. What do they care what operating system you are running? It shouldn't matter to them. This is not a Google problem because my phone works perfectly fine with no Google services at all. I like it that way. You may not like it that way. That's okay. We need choice, though. We need choice. So if you have a look at Lineage, this is the specific operating system I run. You can see that this runs on a wide variety of devices. The problem is a lot of your devices, for example, let's look at Motorola. Oh, I got a Moto E. I can run Lineage on it. Not if you bought your phone from AT&T, you can't. Motorola allows you to unlock it. That's the problem. We need the ability perpetually to open up and unlock our devices because this is not a Google problem any more than it's a Windows problem. How much does Windows push Bing on us? Is EU fining Microsoft for pre-installing Microsoft services and Bing and Cortana directly on the computers? I don't see them doing that right now. That is the absolute dominating operating system. Same thing. Same thing. Exactly. Same thing. But I want to have the ability to open up my device. If you find that some of the there's like S7. I don't see the S8. Okay, maybe they are. There's S9. That's the biggest challenge. It is too difficult to unlock many phones, many devices, many manufacturers. Because if you want to pull these out, I want to be able to buy my phone wherever I buy it from, whether that's AT&T, whether that's from Verizon. Once the phone is mine. Now, I understand if I'm still making payments on a phone, which you shouldn't do anyway, if I'm still making payments on a phone, I can understand them saying you can't unlock it. But once I own this device, I should have the complete perpetual ability to unlock the bootloader, install any operating system I want, and do whatever. Because through Lineage, I can have a completely open source Android phone with no Google connections, no Google services, no Google products. You see, as a consumer, I have choice. That's exactly why I bought, guess what? A Google phone. You realize that the Google phones are the most unlockable and easily to install ROMs and the most compatible with different ROMs available on the market? This is not a Google antitrust. This is a device manufacturer antitrust. Because the average device on the market, I can't take, unlock the bootloader, and install a custom ROM for somebody. That's the problem, people. It's not Google. That's the problem. That is indeed the problem. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Alrighty, so let's go back to the top of the comment thread. Greetings all. Carbon Programmer, hello there, you are early, and Libra Secure. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master, yo peep, what's up? Funny how I got a comment in Chinese with the reply saying they were disgusted at me for refusing the word simplified Chinese because the simplified characters were created by Chinese communists. Well, you know, cultists don't like to hear that their group is a cult. Hello, Noah, what's up? Jockix, hello there from Serbia. Greetings. Everybody say hello to Jockix. I don't remember seeing you before. All right. Elementary OS. All right. Is it working for you? That's good. Ubuntu Mate. Very good. Dual booter as well. Windows 10 and Linux Mint for my desktop. Ubuntu Mate for the laptop. All right. Very good. Okay. Noah's using Ubuntu Studio and Windows 10. Very good. Very cool. Peyote, hello there. My apologies if I said that wrong. Okay. Chip, hello Chip. How's it going there? All right. Sometimes I've heard hard time understanding jokes. Yeah, like jumped off the boat, hit the water. Yeah. The only one who has a hard time understanding jokes. No, you're not. Yeah, Alan doesn't remember the article. Yeah, so I meant to cover an article. Let's go ahead and do that now. It was, yeah, whatever. I missed it. I'll go ahead and link it to the top of the video. But this is the article I was supposed to cover from Singapore. Of course, everyone has all of this health data inside of Singapore. And what ended up happening is their database information was hacked, and patient information, including the Prime Minister's health information, was stolen. Okay, 1.5 million participants had pretty much just your basic contact information stolen. 160,000 people had specific health data stolen, including outpatient prescriptions. Basically, hackers infiltrated the computers of the healthcare institution with 4 hospitals, 5 national specialty care centers, and 8 polyclinics. 2 other polyclinics used under Sing Health. And basically, they were specifically and repeatedly targeted. 1.5 million patients. Let's see, visited the hospital. Non-medical personal data was illegally accessed and copied, including names, IC numbers. I'm guessing that's like a basic ID number. Addresses, gender, race, and dates of birth. They said no record was tampered with and no other patient records such as diagnostic test results or doctor's notes were breached, yet they know of. There's no evidence of a similar breach at other public healthcare systems. But, you know, of course they came out, oh, we're deeply sorry this happened. We're deeply sorry all this happened. See, this, though, the biggest concern for me about all this is why we absolutely, no matter what, we absolutely need We absolutely need the ability to say, no, doctors, you may not put our information online. Because what ends up happening invariably is the big hospitals, they're always trying to save money. And so they're going to be looking for contractors to manage all this data. And they oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes go with the lowest or one of the lower bidders, who may or may not actually understand what they're doing, or may not actually comply with the terms of the law. For example, if I contract all this information out, if I'm a United States company and I contract all this information out to India, it doesn't matter what legal documents you sign. They're effectively non-binding. They're effectively non-binding. And that's the biggest problem. That there's too many people have access to this information. Too many people are simple contractors. Too many people. And the fact that it's all hackable anyway. I want to be able to go in and find a doctor who doesn't upload all this data to some centralized cloud. I get the part of the problem they're trying to solve is people shopping for different doctors for different prescriptions. I understand that issue. I do. But having a centralized database of everybody's medical records is not the solution, because this will happen. This is just the first. And I promise you more is coming down the line, because medical information is more valuable than credit card information. Credit card information, your credit card numbers can change. Very easy. They can change them tomorrow. If I think someone steals my credit card number today, tomorrow that entire thing is gone. But health data is forever. It's a big problem. So that is what I want to talk about yesterday, and I forgot to do that. So I'll go ahead and link that in the news article. Getting ready to head to the mountains for a couple hours. Very good. Had a hard time even in my native language. Okay. Greetings, Brian. Hey, you made it for the medical talk, Brian. That was the medical stuff, because apparently it didn't make its way into my news yesterday. So what's your thoughts on that? One time my teacher said he would get the students who worked at the hardest ins and outs. I thought he was serious about buying me a hamburger. Oh, okay. Time teacher said he would get the students who worked the hardest in and out. Oh, in and out. Okay. Thought he was being serious about buying me a hamburger. I was wrong. Never even got a hamburger. I'm sorry, man. Greetings, Davera. How's it going there? Logan, greetings. Laughed at some classmates. Mr. Tech Guy. Hi, man. Hey, dude. What's up? Mr. Tech Guy. Everybody say hello to Mr. Tech Guy. I think you're new around here. And Sono, I think you're new around here. Hi, brother from another mother. All right. Greetings. I saw a picture. It was 2 sticks of butter. Right? 2 sticks of butter there talking. He says, hey, it's my butter from another udder. Okay. Still waiting for the hamburgers to this day. Oh. I have an Android. When you say a Android, I will throw mine up and down. Alright. Just don't break it, man. Just don't break it. Adrian, greetings. I've experienced graphical tearing on Linux on every version I've tried. I have GTX 980 and with a solution. I'm going to go ahead and delete the message just because the public email will kind of be public forever. I'm just going to delete the message just because it has private information in it, man. But yeah, if anybody knows how to solve that and can set some information here, what is that, GTX? Is that 18? Whatever, my apologies. But if anybody knows the solution to that, go ahead and throw that in the chat. Okay, for a second when I saw the title bar, quick glance, I thought it was Google, Android, AU, Antichrist. Yes, Antichrist. Ah! Yes, yes, yes. Maybe that would have been a better video. I don't know. Watching on an S5, very good. Yeah, I like the S5. That was a good phone. That was one of the best smartphones out there was, in my opinion. Hi, person. Greetings. Watching on iPhone 8 Plus. All right. Used an Asus Nexus 7. Linux. My SD card music, I love the VLC app. Never had any problems with it. Yeah, the funny thing about VLC is on iPhone, you can download VLC. You can download music files from a media server on VLC. On Android, you can't. It's really annoying. I dislike some modern technology, like the cloud and smart devices. I agree, yeah. I like Google Keyboard and Calendar. Oh, Noah remembers KitKat. Very good. Here's closed source on mobile OS. And I'm out. Yep, that's about what I feel. Should be a fine for phone manufacturers for not providing Android updates. I think there should be a fine for phone manufacturers not allowing you to unlock your bootloader and install what you want to install on it. Windows 10 released an always internet-connected laptop with tracking card on the device. Yes, they did. It runs on the LTE network. Yay! Yay, Qualcomm. Greetings, Steven Anderson. How are you? Greetings, James Miller. Once again, incompetent users making our devices have idiot-proof and genius-proof features. Yep. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily make it easy to unlock a phone, okay? Have warnings, have messages. Have it so somebody can't accidentally do it. But for those of us that care and are technically inclined, we should have the ability to install whatever ROM we want on our devices, period. Because guess what? I don't want to use Google services, and I sought out a phone so I didn't have to. And I'm happy with my phone. Guess what I got? A Google Nexus 5X. Love it. It's a great phone. It's a great phone. I can unlock the bootloader. I can do all sorts of other stuff. I'm running all my connections through Tor. It's a great device. I really like it, you know. HP has been the most terrible computers outside the enterprise server industry. Okay. Took me 7 months to root my phone because it's so hard. Yeah. Restricting consumer from messing with the device is the reason why I'm building myself a warranty void if remove sticker. Makes me vomit every time I see it. Yeah, and actually the in the United States that has been ruled by the FTC. FTC. That does not change. Removing those stickers does not void your warranty. Breaking those stickers does not void your warranty. As of now, in the United States, precedent law says they have to demonstrate that you actually did something bad to break your device. Basically saying it's a huge win in the ability to fix your own stuff, you know, right to repair. And that's really what it is they're trying to scare people away from fixing stuff, but the reality is FTC has ruled that is not valid, not correct. But yeah, that's the thing though, and that's my biggest complaint with these devices like Windows. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's too locked down. You can't do what you want on it. And now the user who actually bought the thing is losing rights. That's what's bad. If I buy my device, I should be able to do with my device what I want to do with my device, period. Playing Minecraft right now. Very good. Daniel, greetings. Just got home. All right. Now there will be some manufacturers who will start locking out Linux requiring Windows. Yep. It's already happening, actually. Ubuntu and Windows are two different computers. Okay. All my devices from my gaming tower run Linux, so it's much easier to install. Yep. Means staying on older hardware, being very careful with newer hardware. Funny how this happened in Singapore, which is supposed to be one of the pinnacles of East Asia. Yep. Greetings from Estonia. OnePlus phones are easy to unlock, for example. Yes, they are easy to unlock. I did a video about Estonia a couple weeks back, man. Greetings and hello. Never heard much dystopian news out of Japan or Taiwan, mostly from China. When Fuchsia does come out, it's either Apple or flip phone, unless phones start coming to the bootloader unlocked. Yeah, I don't know about going Apple, though. 2 Motorola phones with bootloaders locked by Verizon. Yay! Any more North Korea is not seeming too bad. I don't know. People seriously buying phones from ISPs? Cannot you buy the phone and the SIM card and your device separately? Yes, that is what I started doing about 4 years ago. Love it. because you pay a lot less for the phone. Like this is my iPhone SE, which the cellular antenna doesn't work anymore, so it doesn't connect to cellular networks, which is totally awesome. Love that feature. That's a feature-rich phone, man. I think I paid $200 for it. And I think the iPhone SEs, I didn't know this, but I was told that the iPhone SEs purchased from Apple can go on any network. I didn't know that was the case. I know the Nexus 5X can. That's another reason why I bought it. If Verizon goes crazy, I can port to AT&T if I need to. It's just about building into your plan choices. Have a plan for your life and build into your plan choices. Okay, if you know your phone is starting to die out, I knew this phone wasn't going to last a lot longer, so I started searching. So last summer, I found on Craigslist, I hunted. I knew exactly what I was looking for, and I hunted for a while. And I bought on Craigslist. I think I drove 40, 50 miles to another city to meet somebody halfway. He was coming 50 miles from another city. We met halfway at a Sheetz restaurant. I looked at the phone. I verified that the serial number was not reported stolen or anything. There's actually a database you can check for that. I paid $200 from a near brand new Google Nexus 5X, and it was an awesome phone. Very good. Brought it home. You could run a lot of different ROMs on it as well. Okay, the SIM card and internet services from the company. Correct. Yep. Actually, it doesn't. PK, it doesn't actually cost more if you know what you're doing. You just have to hunt, and you can't. Part of the negotiation is you use cash. You don't fall in love with the device. You make offers. And that's the thing. I think the phone was originally like $220 or something. I talked it down to $200, which was good. It was good for both of us. $1,000 phone might cost you $200 or $300 on an ISP, but you're locked into a 2-year contract. Yeah, a lot of United States companies aren't doing that as much anymore, though, is the problem. Buy the Android phone directly from a manufacturer. Buy the phone service separately for the phone. Yep. Agree with you. Is that 1,000,000%? Never post patient data online and don't think any doctor should. Yet the government penalizes me and other doctors who does not. Yep. And you take your penalty. Good. Yeah. Okay. Almost bought an iPhone SE 2 years ago, but they were sold out in my town, so I wound up getting an unlocked Nexus 6P. All right. Yeah, 6P's not bad. Okay, still using it. Don't see myself upgrading since Pixel phones ditched the headphone jack. Yeah. Watching for a while, but this is the first time I've caught the stream. All right, Mr. Tech Guy. Well, welcome. I'm glad you caught the stream. That's why I try to do some earlier ones, too. Dropped the phone many times onto a slate. Its only crack is from the previous owner. Yeah. Laptop is branded Envy. I have no envy for not owning a 1984 laptop. Yeah. Virtual 5. Oh, boy. Yeah, government is being manipulated by corporatocracy, indeed. Apple is... Apple is so fighting right to repair. It would not be surprised if they have simply hired the Gestapo to fit some people with some concrete galoshes, you see. That's one of the reasons I'm not buying Apple products, at least not new. Every now and again, I need to have Apple products around because I'm a developer. I need to make sure things work over there. But yeah, I don't buy new things. In fact, the only Apple products I've ever bought, I bought an iPad. I think I bought 2 iPads. I think the iPhone 4 and an iPhone 5C, I bought those new from the manufacturer or from Verizon. Those are the only Apple products I've purchased new. And that was back then Apple was a lot better of a company than they are now. I have a Mac Mini that I bought used. I think my keyboard, of course, my Mac keyboard, I bought that new. Like, you can actually technically use a non-Mac keyboard, but it's actually a little bit harder because the stupid Apple, they have this different keyboard, and that it's a couple of weird things. Of course, they have Control, Option, and Command, and it's just like, which button do you use? It kind of depends. And of course, there's no backspace key. They got a delete key, but in Linux and in Windows, backspace and delete do 2 different things. Yeah, they don't have that function on a Mac. What do you expect from a company that took several extra years to put a second mouse button on their mouse? I do just use a basic Logitech mouse because I'm certainly not paying extra for the mouse. I don't see a reason to have an Apple mouse. But the Apple keyboard, I looked at and said, I guess kind of. Oh, yeah. S5 is a good phone to run custom ROMs. Yeah, I do not see Microsoft doing this, so. I, like you, get what they're trying to do, but they are going about it the wrong way. From an IT point of view, they make it impossible to comply with HIPAA. Yep, pretty much. I ignore warranty void stickers. Having to send my Vive controllers in to fix the trackpads weekly would be hell. Yeah, that's the thing. Oftentimes, for me, like, there's really 1 or 2 times out there where I've been burned by not having, you know, following through with warranty type stuff. But in reality, I'd honestly rather fix stuff like this here. The Meteor mic is good, but I had accidentally messed up the where the case is back here. Now, Meteor mics have, it's either, I think it's a 3-year warranty, but for whatever reason, I can't find the receipt. So while I could have sent it back and they would have either fixed it or sent me a replacement, I couldn't find the receipt. So I'm like, why bother? I just disassembled the thing and fixed it, you know, because there's really not much proprietary in a microphone. But that's, you know, that's the thing. I want to be able to do that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's some complexities that some things are making it harder, but in reality, how hard is it to change a button on a phone? It's actually pretty easy. In fact, it's probably going to be very easy if I want to fix the cellular antenna. I just don't care. Wondering if Windows 10s also locks out Linux from installing this. Well, 10s itself is... that's just on the operating system level. So you install an operating system on the BIOS level. So if the BIOS is locked from installing Linux, then yes. So 10s itself, that's just a software thing. Verizon isn't helping by locking bootloaders. Yep. Why do these ISPs lock the bootloaders? I can understand them locking a bootloader for a phone that is not yet paid for. I'm behind that. But once, like, it should be like a car loan, right? When you buy a car, you don't actually hold the title to the car. The bank holds the title to the car. But once that last payment is paid in, the bank's got 30 days to send you that car title, or they are running afoul of the law. The same thing should be happening on a phone. Once, if I go to the carrier because I don't have a lot of money and I put a phone on payment plans, well, stop buying smartphones. If you got to put a phone on payment plans, buy yourself a flip phone for $50 and avoid the payment. All right. But suppose you do, you go to the store, you go to Verizon, you go to AT&T, you buy yourself a phone, you put it on a payment plan. While that is on a payment plan, technically they own that device. And I can completely understand them not wanting to allow you to unlock the bootloader. But once I have this phone paid for, it should be completely a law that says within 30 days, they have to do whatever it takes. Whether that means I bring them the phone, whether that means they ship me a package, whether that means I enter a serial number, whether it means, you know, whatever you do, within 30 days of paying this device off, I should be able to unlock the bootloader. That's what they should do. But I don't know. Yes, the Windows 10s, that is the update. I was wrong on my 10s analysis. 10s is now essentially pushed to everything, but it is a toggled option. You can turn it on or off at will, as of now. A lot of people buy from the ISP because they save on the phone up front. Actually, I mean, it really, that's not really a thing in the United States anymore that I know of. What you end up doing is you end up paying for the phone the exact same amount. You just pay for it slowly over time is what happens. Altel phones, okay. Root your phone and run a custom ROM. Can I still have phone service? Yes. Now here's the difference, though. Let me go grab that Android phone, because I want to have the Android phone. Hold on. Okay. So, there is a difference between rooting a phone and installing a custom ROM on a phone. So my phone runs a custom ROM, but it is not rooted. okay? Because rooting a phone means that the system files are not locked down any longer. That is a danger because any malicious application that attempts to access system files, if the phone is rooted, they can succeed. So you don't want to root your phone unless there is a very, very specific reason you want your phone rooted, okay? A custom ROM is a operating system that is not the stock operating system. So you have a custom ROM and a stock ROM. So I'm running Lineage, which is a stock ROM, or excuse me, a custom ROM, my apologies. And I'm just uninstalling something that I threw in there as a test and never used it. So I don't want to have extra stuff on the phone. So Lineage is a custom ROM that is the open source. It is the open source Android project. And I think there's a few other little things like maybe some toggle settings and things like that that actually make it decent. For me, I like how this one here organizes the apps alphabetically rather than just having a big old blob of apps. I think it's a way easier way to see things. I think that's one of the custom ROM things. The other one that Lineage allows you to do that is, for me, the biggest selling reason is if you go into your developer options, you have an option down here that is called root access, and you can have disabled and you can have ADB only. So what that means is that I can actually turn that option on so it can be rooted ADB only, which means Android Debug Bridge. That means I'm plugging it into the computer. And then I can drop into sudo on the phone just when it's connected to the computer and unlocked. I can make any modifications to the system files, and then I can jump out of there and relock it. So it's not root access, but I have the ability to push a custom host script or make any other adjustment to any system file that I want to. That is the biggest reason for me why I like to run Lineage. Okay, so with Lineage being run, basically it's just an operating system. It's essentially, it's Android because that's what it is. It runs any Android app. I download do I even have I don't think I have F-Droid on here. No, I found F-Droid to be annoying to have installed. So I just download the apps, verify them, and manually sideload install them. But my phone works on Verizon. I can share the mobile hotspot. I can share the data. You know, you can talk, text, everything else that you want to do. So yes, you can have, you put a custom ROM on your phone. Yes, you still have full phone service. There is really no difference, but you don't want to root the phone unless you absolutely have to root the phone. But installing a custom ROM is a good recommended thing if you want to move away from Google services. Google Pixel, best phone. Yep, that is a nice phone. Yep. Hey, Zach. Yeah, you missed the beginning part, man, but you can catch it. I'm not going to take this down or edit it or anything. We're seeing an angry rant about Windows 10 in which you need to turn on a switch to access safe mode, and the switch is disabled by default. Yeah. Also want to get a Pixel because of the price. They doubled it from the Nexus. Oh, don't want to get a Pixel. Yeah. The downside is the Nexus is not going to be supported for a whole lot longer. I don't generally care because I don't really use my phone for anything that security is a high priority in all reality. I just use it to check email and internet when I'm not in the office and to share mobile internet. So my family have iPads and complain how slowly pages open. They blame it on the internet when it takes 3 seconds on my computer and still defend Apple and don't want to swap to a Samsung tablet. Yeah. I want to find a Samsung tablet that I can install Lineage on because my tablet died. I've actually liked my tablets for e-reading, and my Android tablet died. I'm just kind of holding out until I can find a tablet that I can put a custom ROM on. I've seen a few Samsungs in the store, but they're not ones that support the custom ROM. I should just order it online, but it's low priority for me right now. I do still have an iPad. I don't really use it much. Can't remember the last time I actually turned it on. iPhone 7, don't let it take updates anymore. It's going to run it to the ground. Yep. I've actually blocked Apple updates on my servers. Yeah, you cannot, if you're connected to my network, no devices will attempt to update Apple. I've blocked Apple's update servers. If you need a backspace button, that means you're using our device wrong. Think different. You're right, man. I really need to rethink my delete key usage and my backspace key usage. I really do. Can I survive without proper delete key, right clicks or ports for peripheral? I don't see any justification for the price going from 500 to 1,000. Oh, yeah, I see the justification. Apple did it. We want more money too. Windows 10 is hard to use for technical users. Huh? SE phone is kind of awkward to open. How so? Well, I'm going to try and open it now. It's turned off. I keep it powered off unless I need it. Actually, you just use it to listen to music. Maybe a few other little odds and ends, test websites, things like that. Name Windows 10s as a deceptive name. No, it's not. Windows 10 stupid. That's pretty clear. Learning Red Hat, planning to become a Linux admin. Is it worth it? Yes. I agree. Keep doing it. Don't mind Windows 10, and I'm a technical type. Is the S supposed to be a deceptive name or something? Stupid. Yes. Bads, TM, greetings and hello. S is a trick. It's a trap! It's a trap! Lease. Who here likes their lease? Lease on what? On Windows, is it has not got all the features they want you to buy features yet at all. No more payments, cash, or lease. Alcatel phones can't be rooted. Yeah. Can you do that on regular Android? I'm guessing you're talking about the debug by ADB debug. I don't think so. Lineage is the only place I've seen that, but I haven't looked for it other places because I was thinking I'd have to root the thing, make adjustments to system files, and maybe unroot it. But then I was looking through the settings. I'm like, root by ADB. What's that mean? Oh, I like that function. Yep. Okay. Androids are spyware phones, just like the iPhone. Better use some old Motorola. Yeah. Well, Motorola's Android too, so. You can root Samsung tablets, but no ROMs for a lot of them. Remember those Microsoft laptops that came with a stylus that were advertised for artists, but had a version of Windows that locked out apps? Yeah, that was Windows RT. Microsoft, if Microsoft does anything really bad, they can't figure out how to market right. Because they had the Windows Surface Pro and the Windows Surface RT, and people didn't know which one they were getting. And it just caused marketing nightmares. So just like if you still have a Windows 8 computer laying around, right? The Edge browser, what we know as Edge now, was actually it's the app version of Internet Explorer. It was still called Internet Explorer. So on the same computer, you had Internet Explorer, the app, and you had Internet Explorer, the program. This caused a nightmare. But they do it all the time. They have Outlook, which is their email application, and Outlook, which is their email client. Microsoft! Get your head out of your rear end. You'd think a company with that much market influence would figure out how to market something. Have a different name for your email service and your email client. Because a client and a service are two different things, people. Lordy. Bad weather is about to hit. Yeah, it's looking pretty ugly where I am too. And the sad thing is I don't have my outdoor philosophy recorded for tomorrow, so I hope hopefully it doesn't downpour on me before I get to it. Okay. I don't like when I call the devices Crapple iPood Mini. Not Apple, I mean Google. Nexus 6P price, yes. Nexus was equivalent to high-end Apple and Samsung phones, but half the price. Yeah, but what they realized is that, well, everyone else's flagship phones are going for $1,000. We can do ours for $1,000 too. Lease on Windows 10s. No, hate it. All right. Or in stock Android, I hate Samsung's bloated OS. That was the downside about Samsung. But for me, I just disabled all the Google stuff I didn't want, so I didn't have it didn't feel bloated to me, just because I got rid of a lot of stuff. Anyone run across a ROM or phone image that lets you turn on your old phone into a music player? I don't need a phone, messaging, or anything, just an OS enough to access audio. Any phone, just turn it to airplane mode. Battery will last a lot longer. Just basically turn it to any Android. Just turn on airplane mode. That's what I do. That's actually what I use for. Let me find that burner. I keep the battery out of it because when the battery's in it, it drains in a couple of days, even when it's turned off. Kind of scary. So I keep the battery out of it. Battery's out. But I just have this little one. It runs KitKat. This is just an LG, I don't know, cheap $10 or $20 phone from Walmart. But, you know, it doesn't connect to any cellular stuff. There's no SIM card or anything like that in it. I think these actually have like an integrated SIM. So I could technically call 911 with it, I guess. But I use it because when I'm running, I want to have a GPS to track how far I've run, whatever else. So for this, I turn on the GPS. I put an app on here to log, you know, running stuff. And then I have the just the Google Play Music, whatever, and I just throw in music onto the internal drive. I think it has an 8 gig on board. I just use that. If you want it to last longer, just switch it to airplane mode. That's the way you do it. But this is actually nice. I love the size of this. Of course, the only thing I don't like about the Nexus is the size of it. So here's the iPhone SE. Okay, now take the iPhone SE, and this is this one. I love the size of this little device. So kind of fun. But that's what I would do. Samsung tablet's crazy and is rooted in over-ROMs. Deep in OS Linux. Greetings. In the beginning, Motorola was not Android. The old beginnings of the phone, just like the Nokia. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Greetings, Matthew Keller. How's it going there? Windows 8 computers are drowning. I'm drowning in old Windows 8 laptops that were binned, but work well. Are you in the United States? You want to sell one of them? Can we hit 50 likes? Let me know. How about Hotmail back, not Outlook? Yeah. It's become so bloated you can't even log in on the internet anymore. Fortunately, it works well with, I use mine on K9 Mail or Thunderbird, and I think Apple Mail are the places I check my Hotmail address. Greetings, Anna Rita. How's it going there? Cleaning the house while listening. I'm going to do that a little bit later. I want Napster back. Beginning of the internet. Actually, Napster still exists. Only now you can download music files legally. Get an MP3 player for 30 bucks, like SanDisk. Yeah, I use the SanDisk one. Let me show you that one, too. I'll be right back. Let me grab my SanDisk. Okay. So I love this one. Little SanDisk. These cost like 30 bucks maybe. Not internet connected, which is totally cool. 8 gigabytes of onboard storage with an SD card expansion slot. So you can put a lot of data on here. Charge lasts about 16 or so hours on these. I actually use this when I'm cooking in the kitchen. When I'm cooking, I actually just have little computer speakers there. I got this guy kind of clipped off to the side, and I pretty much use this just in the kitchen. So love this device. If you want one of these, that's a good place to go for. Buy them at, you know, Best Buy, or you can buy them online, I think, as well. So yeah, absolutely, definitely get one of those. Speaking of old programs, someone revived AIM Messenger and Windows Live Messenger. Nice. App crashed. All I heard was, with any phone put into... Okay. So I'm guessing you're the one that asked that initial question. Just get any device. Like I said, I'm using this one. Just take the device, put it into airplane mode. That's all you need to do. Put it in airplane mode. Of course, if you just want an MP3 player, way better option, better battery, easy to move files onto. You can just pop your SD card out, put it into your computer, unless you have an Apple, got rid of the SD cards. Throw your music on there, throw it back in, it'll resync your files, things like that. That's a good way to go. And that's $30. The problem is you can pick up a burner phone for cheaper than one of those, which is kind of funny. Does GPS work on airplane mode? I don't remember. We're going to boot this bad boy up and give it a test. The thing about this, there's no other image, so I actually literally took a picture of just a black screen and used that as my background, because since I use it to run at night, I don't want a bright screen. Pretty much all I use this phone for is running. Give that a second to get booted up, and then we'll go ahead and give that a test. Missed the smaller phones. That's why I got a Pixel and not the XL. Yes, I am good, Matthew. Very good. All right. Okay, so now let's use my super secret password that is 5555. The only reason I put a password on it is so I don't pocket dial it. Okay. Lordy, where is airplane mode on this thing? There you go. I have to go into settings to turn on airplane mode. Okay, so airplane mode is on. Yes, so airplane mode is on and GPS is on. So yes, I can actually use GPS with airplane mode on this device. All right, let's see. Ones they call phablets now. I could make a bad joke about that, but I'm not going to. We're going to keep this show family friendly. I was thinking I'll make some of those laptops. I'll take some of those off your hands, yeah. In Australia, and they're partially broken. None of them have keyboards. Ah, bummer. All right, Microsoft's a huge company like any other, with people that do work and people that are their friend do almost nothing. DuckDuckGo, ditching Windows, 2 weeks with Ubuntu Linux Lite XPS 13. It's a Forbes article about a guy switching to Linux. It's interesting to read. Very cool. I'll have to look that up. Can I start page it though instead of DuckDuckGo it? As long as you're not telling me to Google it, I'm good. All right. So here is the article he just talked about. Was this a Forbes article? That's what he said. Yep. A few weeks ago, during a time-sensitive 350 gigabyte file transfer, Windows 10 rebooted without warning. Then the OS started. I was greeted with an infuriating blue screen that became all too familiar. No, not that infuriating blue screen. That one declares, working on updates. It was, as they say, the last straw. After 2 decades of relying on Windows, I finally decided it was time for the nuclear option. Go away. Okay. Okay. For many years, my fear of Linux outweighed my grievances with Windows. In the early 2000s, I experimented with distributions like SUSE, Red Hat, and Debian because I was enthralled with seeing the other side of the desktop PC environment. That's like, I'm going to go to the other side of the tracks. I wanted to tinker, became an expert at Googling for driver solutions, and learned basic terminal commands by necessity. Now I'm older and have less patience. I just want my system to work out of the box. So when I'd wake up my XPS 13 from sleep only, I found a Wi-Fi driver had stopped working, couldn't discover my password. So myself simply rebooting is easier than dealing with Linux. When I was interrupted by constant nags, rebooted Windows option, I consoled myself with thoughts like, just accept it. You're comfortable with this, and it's time It's just the way things are. When I needed to install or reset Windows 10, we met with seemingly endless parade of setup screens. I reassured myself this was easier than managing the headaches Linux would introduce. I realized there are workarounds to all those issues, and most of Microsoft's very intrusive privacy defaults can be disabled. No, they can't. You think they might be disabled. But something just put me over the edge recently. I craved an operating system that was lightweight, distraction-free, and devoid of bloat and staying out of my way. Linux Mint, fresh look, false start. After backing up everything and then consulting the popularity rankings at DistroWatch, I downloaded Linux Mint onto an 8 gigabyte USB stick. Took the trepid step moving to Linux as my daily driver. First wanted to see how it would run, which is what makes the live options of many Linux distributions so attractive. Just boot from your USB stick, see if it plays nice with your hardware, play around with the desktop environment, get a feel for things. I enjoyed what I was seeing. Hit the install icon, Mint's installation routine. Couldn't find a drive to install the OS to. Bye. That's interesting. That would be the blind praise for Linux? Not quite. Perhaps I needed to mount the internal drive? No? I don't know what his issue was. Canonical's Ubuntu seemed to command a lot of mind share when it comes to desktop Linux, so that's my next step. Went through the same places, download USB stick, boot the live version. Includes 5-year security patches and updates. Have a look around, click install, present me with several options, partitioning the internal drive, including blasting the entire drive. Tempting. Feeling lucky, so I took the plunge. By the way, years ago, I remember having to manually select the size partitions for swap, root, and home folder. What a relief to see this is automatic now. Speed of Ubuntu installation took literally 4 minutes from start to finish, includes selecting my region, username, and a Wi-Fi network to download updates in the background. 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes, you guys. That's extraction, installation, setup. Within 4 minutes, I was ready to log in and get to work. Beyond that, no additional drivers were needed. Ubuntu promptly detected all my XPS 13 hardware, including Wi-Fi adapter, gorgeous 4K touchscreen, function keys, touchpad, webcam. Yep, on my first visit to GNOME-based desktop experience, I even noticed the font scaling was set to 200% compensate for the display's high resolution, and there was a nightlight option include reducing blue light for darker environments. Bonus, on first boot, Ubuntu presents a screen to opt out of data collection. All right, let's just flip through here. Yep, so he's talking about installing things. Discord, Spotify, Skype, VLC, Telegram, OBS, Slack, GIMP, Audacity, various ebook readers, etc. Yep. 2 weeks in, honestly thought I'd found one insurmountable hurdle to rely on dual booting with Windows and Ubuntu, but I haven't looked back. My day-to-day workflow is largely unchanged with cool extensions like CPU frequency, which lets you easily limit the number of active CPU cores and throttle clock speeds if desired. I've seen my Dell XPS 13's battery life stretch far further than on Windows 10 by about 90 minutes or so. Overall, everything I need is present and accounted for. My laptop feels faster, undeniably more stable, and it's just been pleasant. Backups are easy. Navigating the operating system is intuitive. Altering the look and feel of your desktop takes a few clicks. Virtual workspace are here. Wine for running Windows software on Linux is easier than ever to get up and running. Power users can dig deeper and implement customizations fit their every need, such as the ability to get Android phone notifications on your desktop or go nuts and just about anything on a command-based terminal. Haven't had to touch the terminal yet. So far, everything works. Closing thoughts. Will I create music on Linux? No. I'll stick to Logic Pro X on Mac for that. Change my mind? Change my mind. Okay. Will I benchmark new games and graphics cards on Linux? Nope. Although Steam on Linux is a very healthy selection of games to enjoy now, thanks to Valve's earlier SteamOS efforts, the Steambox push. However, this is absolutely my new daily driver for writing, working, communicating, browsing, and media consumption. I also stress very emphatically that this is one guy's experience, but it's been an overwhelmingly positive one. I'm not trying to sell you on Ubuntu, so I haven't wasted precious paragraphs towing the canonical PR line or listing all the technical features. View it more or less informal journey of the journey as a tech journalist. I know writing about Linux doesn't exactly bring in clicks, but what doesn't exactly bring in clicks? Yes, it does. Just clicked on it. But said journey has been so refreshing, I felt compelled to cover it. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Awesome. Love it. Thanks. Thanks for that article, man. That's awesome. All right. I think there was a news article or video that Android tracks even more when in airplane mode. Well, what it does is Android still wants to log everything, so it logs everything onto a log file, and the next time it finds a connection, it just mass dumps that log file. That's what it seems to do. Password, and still managed somehow to have the YouTube app open and kill the battery. Wow. What distro should I install on my laptop? You know what, Pizza? I haven't seen you do Fedora before. Try Fedora. Try Ubuntu or Linux Mint if you're a beginner. Otherwise, try others. Yeah, Pizza's a seasoned guy. Pizza. He knows what he's doing. But I haven't seen him run Fedora yet. So Pizza, try Fedora. That's what I want you to try. See if you can get it running. Do a video on it in a couple days. I think that's what I want to put. I want to try and put Fedora over here on my Debian build. I want to try and do that. Linux Mint, Linux Lite, or Peppermint. If you're giving me those options, try out Peppermint. Looking at MP3 players here. Amazon pricing madness. 1 gigabyte MP3 player, 2 player. Who would buy that? Yeah, I know. There's some weird ones out there. Let me see if I can find you guys a link for the one I have on Amazon. This particular one is, which model are you? You are the Clip Jam. Actually, so mine cost $26 on Amazon. All right, so I'm going to drop the link I'm dropping in there. It is an affiliate link to the specific MP3 player I have. I highly recommend it. If you want to put pictures or things like that, there is another version that has more image capabilities. Like it'll have the ability to put your album art and things like that. That's an extra $10. The affiliate link for there is now dropped into the chat as well. So I think I've had 2 of these before. They're good. I really do like these ones. I'm not sure what's up with this Sanso one that is $100 for 8 gigabytes. I have no idea. So I'm guessing my Clip Gem one's... Okay, so that says 8. The other one I think I put in there was a 16 gig. Yeah, you can get 4 gig ones as well. But the thing is they have SD card slots. Now I had creative ones in the past I really liked. I had one that you couldn't do video and stuff. They were like kind of a couple $100 then, but anymore, the problem I have with a lot of those is they just got way too internet connected. And I don't want an internet connected everything. I try and find things that aren't internet connected. Who's thinking here that every Ubuntu basic distro you want to use is Ubuntu, Mate, Plasma, doesn't matter which is spyware. Who thinks that Ubuntu basic spyware? What do you think? I don't know. It's not spyware. It collects information I don't want them to collect by default. So I've been critical about that. But no, it's not spyware. It's not watching everything you do. Windows is spyware. It watches everything you do. Ubuntu will log, if you enable PopCon, which is not enabled by default, but if you enable PopCon, it will weekly give a list of the most recent apps that you've used and installed. But it doesn't send any data. It will send a fingerprint of your system to Ubuntu if you opt into the data collection. That's what Ubuntu collects. But that is just the Ubuntu. Kubuntu does not do that. Ubuntu and Ubuntu Mate are the only ones I know of that do that. Plasma doesn't. They do not have those packages. They've taken those out. You think dual booting Ubuntu for using or play with VR would wine kill me? Do you think that dual booting Ubuntu for using to play VR with less bloat or would wine kill me? I mean, I think if you're a gamer or there's some application you need to use on Windows, you want a dual boot option. I mean, hands down, I think you want a dual boot option. Wine is very limited in what it can do. A virtual machine could work if you have enough hardware. Like, I could probably get away with that kind of stuff on this computer because this has 12 processing cores and 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM. I could get away with that without a big deal. Maybe your average computer may not be able to run it in a virtual machine. So, like, if I needed to run, I'm not a gamer, but if I needed to run games on something on my laptops, I would dual boot, because I'm only using half the hard drive space anyway. I'd dual boot into Windows and have a Windows option and a Linux option and use Linux most of the time, Windows as needed. That's kind of what I would do. You suggest if I game on Windows, what to disable or do? If you have Windows, then what you want to do, and I need to do a video about this yet, but you want to pick yourself up a Raspberry Pi. This one's a Pi Zero. You want to pick yourself up a Raspberry Pi and build NoTrack. Either NoTrack, which is QuidSub's application, or Pi-hole, which is another one. They both do the same thing. Basically, this is a custom DNS server that you can run on your router. And then you drop it in on your router, and then you run your router's DNS through that service, and then you can block all of Windows data collection scripts. Because if you block that stuff on Windows machine itself, it does not respect them. You have to block it above the Windows machine on your network. I run pfSense, so if I had to do that, then I would actually, what I would actually do is I would have an extra script in there to block all that Windows stuff, and then usually have that turned on, and then have the toggle option to say, let's turn that off so I can run some Windows updates as needed. So you want to block that stuff above your computer. So a Raspberry Pi is the cheapest option. Get a Pi, plug it into your router, run all your DNS through that, and it's actually a great thing for reducing your data usage as well. Okay, music production on Linux is pretty legit. See me rot. What are you using to do music production? Have you used LMMS? I think Kyrie Holmes, are you on here? I don't remember if you are or not. Okay. Battery life longer than on Windows? Really? Conventional wisdom always says battery life sucks on Linux. No, I disagree. I think I get like 12. No, not 12. 8. I think I get 8 hours on my writing laptop on Linux running Peppermint. Modern games that doesn't, older version. Got this article, honestly. If I play World of Warcraft reliably and use Reason for music production in Linux, I'd be over there full time. I'd increase the battery life a million times, turn off the device. There you go, yeah. Traction is cross-platform free. Fedora is nice, okay. Time's at 143. Okay. Tried Fedora, never really liked it. I'm not a big fan, but I want to run it to give it a try a little bit more. Peppermint and Mint before, and Peppermint is my favorite of the two, but I've never tried Linux Lite. Gonna keep Arch on my desktop. My laptop runs Windows, but I'm finished with TermGet for Windows, so I don't need Windows anymore. There you go. Well, let's keep it around just so you can play around a little bit. Heard the establishment was trying to destroy meritocracy. They succeeded. Does that have Bluetooth? I don't think so. Pretty sure it doesn't. Tried running it in Wine yet. Let me look, though. Let me look if it has Bluetooth. Do. Settings, system settings, audio, podcast options. No, there is no Bluetooth options or anything like that. No Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi. Okay, I haven't tried running in Wine yet, but from what I've read on forums, it's not much of an option. Debating on whether to go for Peppermint, Linux, Mint, Ubuntu Studio, or Fedora on my desktop computer, Dell Inspiron. I will tell you, Linux Mint should run perfectly fine. I run Linux Mint on both my Dell computers, and it runs flawlessly. And just good user experience, so that would be my general preference on that. Using Reaper, then Cakewalk. Reason I had a Pop! OS versus Deepin versus Elementary. Windows collects all your files and stores them on their servers. Yeah, even when you tell them not to. Ubuntu Studio looks like a creative person's playground. Compaction of data is amazing. I have 500 gigabyte micro SD and just put it next to a 500 gigabyte hard drive. My head hurt a bit small. Toss, they said they could even alert authorities if they find anything suspicious. Yep. Yeah, Pi-hole. Agent needs one of those. Is VM to run Ubuntu and Mac at the same time? Then it crashed my PC. Basically, not hard crash, just froze for 50 hours. Okay, desktop shortcuts are broken after reboot. Huh. Classmates think I'm crazy when I talk about the NSA. Ardor is better than LMMS. Well, the problem is, though, is that Ardor does not have the ability to insert music synthesizers. There's a lot of limitations that Ardor has that LMMS, Ardor doesn't have that LMMS has, to my knowledge. But like I don't personally do music production, but I have friends that do. And so they were looking for options to not have to rely on Apple and Logic Pro. LMMS looks a lot better than that. So Simi Rot, can you comment on that? Is LMMS better than Ardor for production when you're talking about having drum kits, having synthesizers and basic input? Which are the best options for those? Remember having lower and running Linux and try using a file server. Can't get it to let me open the files. Turn on your camera and microphone remotely, and my biology teacher says I'm not crazy. They really can do that. Yep. New students have really good grades, are getting denied entering universities, even expelled for already over social media. Yep. Doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't line up to the agenda of the culture, you're done. Kubuntu? Kubuntu's good. I like KDE. DJ online and love to have fun online as well. Awesome. All right, well, I think I'm going to about wrap this guy up. I'm not sure if I can round up a kitty or not. Give it a try. Kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty. I think he's in the back bedroom again. Kitty, kitty. They're just not excited about kitty treats anymore. Can't seem to find a kitty. Advertising companies and social media selling data have destroyed a lot of our culture and become a blight. Yep. Not even have to be a marketer to buy data. Anyone with the right amount of money can buy your data. LMMS is close to FL Studio and has all the goods, including great MIDI support. Okay, very good. Do I happen to own VR? No. The last thing we need is to put big old coverings over our eyes. We're already like this and not paying attention to the world around us. Like we want headsets on while we're doing it, people? No. right. Yep, we're going to go ahead and wrap this guy up. So have yourselves a wonderful afternoon. Don't forget to check out the various support methods, switchtolinux.com/support. You can learn about how to support the channel over there. You can also pick up some Switch to Linux swag, including this cool mouse pad, at shop.switchetolinux.com, and check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/TomM. Let's look at the last final couple comments here. There's a time when we did not have degeneracy in our culture, back when degeneracy was illegal. Gaming on Linux? Not as good, but I don't game. What do I care? All right, guys, we will see you later. Have yourselves a wonderful afternoon, and hopefully there will be an outdoor philosophy tomorrow. It depends if I get a chance to actually get out there and record it. But we will talk to you guys later, and see you back on Monday for a Linux Top 5.